The Collection by Gibson. We've watched a bunch, we've learned a bunch. Stay tuned, we're going to fill you in. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And me, Jonathan.
Okay, we watched all the Collection videos by Gibson. We spent hours. Hours. Because they're literally an hour. And we were trying to see what are the takeaways? What are the big things that are the commonalities of these things? You see a few things? I saw a few things.
I saw a few things.
Well, A, you gotta have a lot of money to make the
unless you're Charlie Star and you're looking for deals.
Okay, that was one of our favorite ones, the Charlie Star one.
I feel like Charlie Star is a man of the people. Like he's out buying like I found a deal. Now his deals and our deals might be different, but still.
But he's buying like Les Paul Juniors in the parking lots of Rayfords and Walmarts across North Carolinas and South Carolinas, all over. Anyway, that's what we've all done that. We respect it. No, we did sort of make a list though of the things we learned and sort of like blows away some of the understands what we always think about with Gibson, or not Gibson, vintage guitar collection.
Right. Collecting.
So, A, hardly any of these were original.
Yeah, no, they all. And I mean, even when they say, "Oh, this is all original," except for the tuners, we got new frets,
and
and
the bridge,
right.
That was a big thing. There was so many changes to the guitar, like just the modifications to make it playable and a working instrument.
I was gonna say none of these guys they're all like rock stars, so they're playing these guitars on stage. So those are the things to be done to them to make them functional.
Or playing on the floor with your toddler.
Or playing on the floor
with a burst.
If you're Jason Isbell, and you just playing the red eye.
Hey, so some have had broken headstocks.
Sure.
We've had there's been new pickups in there. Binding issues with some. Neck swaps.
Wiring harnesses from lap steels.
That was really cool too. Pickguard replacements.
Yeah, so all that stuff.
It's the biggest thing though is something I think we learned too, like that was a big selling point for a lot of guitars. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's what are you insinuating?
No. Well, just they're all story connected.
Sure.
And some of these stories are wonderful, and some are really vetted and true. Some can't be true. That's okay. It's all right. It's part of the fun.
Well, I even said on a few of them, I don't know. Like this is what I was told. I don't know if this is it or not. But and I think that's fair.
But that's part of the joy to me too, as a guitar hunter and collector. I like these stories. Like I have vintage guitars that have had sort of funny stories, or like a guitar that's been like routed out underneath for a different pickup at some point, but then the original was swapped back in. I kind of think that's cool. It makes it sort of like it was a working, experienced, living guitar. Sure. Now that being said, something you pointed out earlier in our video, just a minute ago, was there's different levels of like collectors and like where you get to. Are you going to have a burst one day? That seems to be the holy grail.
Yeah. Of
all of these things from the collection. Like if you have the burst, they're going to spend some time with that. They're going to lead you to it. They're not going to show it to you first. They're going to get there a little bit later because that's not the finale, but that's the big creme de la creme. Then we're going to sort of show pieces sort of falling after that. You get some of the fenders in there and some of the other. You got to have that stuff in there, which I like that watching these collection videos. It wasn't just a Gibson centric entirely. Like it was, but there's other guitars.
I think when Sean and I got to hang out with Mark Ignisi, that was one of the things he said, is that he told them, hey, we have to show all their guitars. We can't just show the Gibsons. We got to do everything.
That would come off as quite a bit disingenuous if it was just, hey, I just play Gibsons. It's like, well.
So I think that's the right call for sure.
No, it was cool to watch, someone like, the collections of someone like Jason Isbell and Slash, and then you get sort of more, not normal, but like really, something I learned really how you get into it is Les Paul Juniors, SG specials, like certain ones that you can still find those for you could have found them for great deals 10 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago, you're getting these things in parking lots again for like $800.
Right.
Like you can find great deals now. I mean, you're looking at $10,000 for some of these in the 50s. But it's
that's always hard for me to wrap my brain around. It's like, are people coming around to these because they are good and no one cared for a while because they just didn't know? Are they coming around because they're the only thing that's affordable? Right. I mean, obviously, when Charlie Starr plays a Les Paul Jr., sounds amazing.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I mean, you watch all the great players. It's in their fingers.
Yeah,
it's in their hearts. It's in their brains and their souls, if you believe in such things. But they can make. Jeff Beck made a Squier sound, like a 1954 Stratocaster. He just has that way with his fingertips. But no, I think there's a question in that. Are these sort of like the student model guitars are those the only things that are somewhat affordable? So. But I think it's a great place to start if you're doing the collections.
I think so.
It's because you can't start at a burst. It's hard to start even like when you're talking about Derek and I were just talking off camera about the non-pancake bodies and like the years right before how the price is astronomically higher. I mean, and I've got a pancake body at Les Paul. And it's awesome. I was just holding it. It weighs 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Because where's the tone?
In the glue.
In the syrup.
The syrup. Forgot.
Tone is in the syrup. Come on, guys.
He means the glue.
It's a catchphrase that we're going to be developing.
Tone is in the syrup.
I think it should be a t-shirt. I don't know. No, so it's like, if you haven't watched any of these Gibson Collection videos, they are outstanding. I was watching them. We were just watching them a bit before this as well. And it's almost like a documentation of these pieces. Because a lot of these will get broken into collections later on that will never be seen again.
What is it? It's a cool documentation. It's cool to see some of these guys that we listen to, that they love guitars as much as we do. They're just normal. Like, you get the vibe that if they were construction workers or lawyers or dentists or whatever, they'd still be doing this thing. You know what I mean? On a different scale maybe, or who knows. But I find that kind of interesting.
My brain just fixated on the idea of a dentist moonlighting as a construction worker.
That's probably could.
And he was like lied to his wife and children for years, and they're like, "Where's he going for the weekends?" And he would always go off and.
Maybe you just really love drills.
I mean, I think that'd be
to drill things.
That'd be a good plot for like an Academy Award-winning movie that no one sees. Anyway, back to guitars.
The driller. Yeah.
I mean, it was like the part swapping was something you mentioned that was really cool because we on the Charlie Starr video in particular, like a lot of those student model Gibsons, they have issues with the electronics. They don't quite do what you want them to do.
Well, I mean, he's talking about that wiring harness, and I think he said that was a newer wiring harness that somebody had put in, but I can't remember exactly.
No, it's from like an old lap steel that he found.
That he found. Yes. I'm not saying that when he got it was a newer wiring harness. It wasn't a vintage one.
Okay.
Which that makes a big. I think it does make a big difference. I think people don't. Sometimes you put all this stock into what the pickups are, and obviously that makes a difference, but. The wiring's not right. It doesn't do the thing, where it's really, like he says, it's really bright on 8 or like 9
once
to
you get
10.
past 8, like you'll find like guitar, like that's the thing with the Gibsons in particular. I guess Fenders too, but I feel like Gibsons even more. Like that volume knob is really vital.
Yeah,
it's it really opens up a whole different tonal spectrum when you just cut down to 8.
It does.
Yeah, it's a different guitar. Like I tend to run full tilt because I'm stupid, and I like that. And I'm lazy, but that's what I do there. It's so again, like tuners, they take them all off. Like all the original tuners. Because what was it that Jason Isbell called like dead men's toes?
Dead men's toes.
That's what the original ones could start to look like. They seal them up, keep them safe.
Just trash it off. No, obviously you keep the original parts, right?
Yeah, it'd be weird
in case you ever sell it or all that kind of stuff. But
the bridges, like you're gonna take those off a lot too, particularly if you're doing like a wrap over type of thing. It's just. You're wearing them out. If you have a trim piece, you might lock it in there because you're barely going to use it. The vibrato and the wiggle sticks of those Gibsons, but you want to keep it there for weight and the aesthetic of the guitar and
because they just look awesome.
They do look awesome.
But yeah, I mean all that stuff, the bridges like wear out. You know what I mean? So you need functional ones.
In original cases, that's a rarity for all of these.
Right.
I mean, some of them had it, but most guitars, like I mean. They're if they're taking on the road in particular, they're getting road cases.
Right.
But if not, even if you don't have the original case, it seems okay. That's not. So if you are in the collecting game, you're getting in there. Don't freak out too much about everything not being original.
I think you just got to know. You got to really do some research on what that adds and what it takes away, and it's not as big a deal as you'd think sometimes. But you do want to be educated if you can be. If you're buying that stuff. So.
I mean, the most nervous part to me was like when they're talking about refretting 59 Les Pauls. That I know they know how to do it really well out there in Nashville, but it still is a scary idea.
That part doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't scare me at all. But them talking about like who is nervous about playing them on stage and who's not. I would find that slightly. I mean, like, I wouldn't want to have anything I want to go out and play. But I can understand. Even just playing like the new Greenie,
right?
On stage is like, man, don't drop this thing. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if I have a good strap set up, I'm pretty confident I can run around. I'm not going to fall.
Well, you know, you or I are not having techs hand us new guitars in the set. You know what I mean? Like Jason Isbell is funny. Like he said, they were like, "You're not going to drop this." And you go, "You're not going to drop it." I mean, I think that's kind of fun to have a little mantra. Like, yeah, don't drop this.
You're not going to throw this across the pit when you're opening for Taylor Swift and the guitar is consumed by the hordes. Of crowds. No, it's a really cool. Like, I mean, if you haven't watched these yet, like, take the time to like enjoy it. Like, we're just kind of giving you a cursory of watching. You know, you watch 5 to 10 of them. It's sort of the same thematic ideas, but you get to really have a great documentation of these beautiful pieces. They spend a lot. Each one's like an hour.
Yeah, they're long videos. They're not short videos. They go through them. They tell stories. You get to see great shots of the guitar.
The shots are really cool. So. Somebody's standing on a ladder, I feel like, and they're holding them by like an elastic bungee cord.
Probably. To
get some of those overhead shots. I don't know how the science of filmmaking works. But no, they're fun. I recommend it. Take some time. Mark does a bang-out job of getting the interview done and stay out of the way of those beautiful guitars, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'd give it a shot. That's what I take away. Anything else, Johnny?
I think that's it.
In the meantime, click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Have fun. Tell us what kind of cool collections you got. Or looking to get next, too, because we're always looking for something. It's a problem. I need help. Peace.
All Hoffners.
With you. Hagstrom's for me only.